Hi everyone, my name is Maze, and otherwise known as Healthy Maze. I'm a nutritionist and yoga teacher and recipe creator. I love making healthy recipes, and tonight I'm going to be making some raw sushi with you guys. So over on my account, Healthy Maze, my Insta account, I post photos of my raw sushi, and my followers have been asking for the recipe and how to make it for ages. So I thought this is a wonderful opportunity to share with everyone how easy it is to make such a nutritious dish. So the main difference with raw sushi is that it's actually not made with sushi rice, and the rice as we know it is made from different types of cruciferous vegetables. So my favorite is actually red cabbage, made out of red cabbage, but you can also make it out of cauliflower or broccoli. You can make like different multicolored different ones. So you can see pictures on my account of ones I've made before. So it's actually super easy. It takes like 10 or 15 minutes to make. You just need to prepare the ingredients, and you can get really creative with the flavors and the fillings as well. So I already made some broccoli. This was Romanesco broccoli. So what you do is you chop it up initially, and then you just need a food processor to make the rice. And when you process it, you don't want to process it too finely. You don't want it to be too small consistency. So you want it to be like rice basically. So I've made some broccoli already, but we're going to make some red cabbage. So I've chopped up the red cabbage into kind of like small pieces, and you can't really put too much in the food processor in one go because it just clogs it up. So I'm just going to put this in the food processor to show you how quickly it takes to process it. So not too long at all. So it's going to be a bit noisy. Hold on a minute. Yeah, literally like a couple of minutes. There you go. So that was like less than a minute, and you get it in this like nice rice consistency. And look at the gorgeous color on that. Wow. So I made some earlier because you need to do it in small chunks, otherwise the food processor gets clogged up. And if you don't have a food processor, you can get ones really cheap. I think this was like 40 quid, and I've had it 5 or 6 years. So you don't need to spend loads of money on fancy KitchenAid ones, because you can get, cheap one that lasts a long time. So once you've got the rice, then with raw sushi, you need to flavor the rice a little bit. It tastes so much yummier when you add a little bit of flavor to it. So I think you will have seen the recipe that I sent through already. So I like to flavor it with it's all with taste. You always go for like sweet, salty, sour, those different taste sensations. So I add like umami as well. So you add different flavors to match those different taste sensations. And then you can flavor it with different superfoods as well. So this is the broccoli one that I made earlier, and I flavored it with medicinal mushrooms. So this is an organic mushroom blend. It's got reishi, chaga, and lion's mane in. So it's like full of antioxidants, full of immune boosting properties. So I flavored it with mushroom, and I used black sesame as one of the ingredients with the broccoli. And with the black sesame, you can if you don't have black sesame tahini, you can just make your own tahini. This is like a cheap coffee grinder you can get on Amazon for like 20 quid. You just simply put the black sesame seeds, the whole seeds in here, and you can see you grind it for like a minute, less than a minute, and it turns into a paste, which is kind of like tahini. So it's the same way as you make almond butter. To make almond butter, you just put almonds in a food blender, and that's almond butter with a bit of salt. So yeah, in here I added this is black sesame and medicinal mushroom flavor, and then all the other ingredients. So for this one, we're going to add all the other ingredients first. So tamari sauce I love to use because it's kind of slightly fermented, so it's good for digestion and gluten-free as well. So 1 tablespoon, this is about like half a head of red cabbage. So like a tablespoon of tamari, a tablespoon of sesame oil. So I like this Clear Spring organic sesame oil. And then some rice vinegar too. So add a tablespoon of that. And then you need a little bit of sweet. So to sweeten it, you can use honey or coconut sugar. I prefer the non-refined sugar sources. And I mean, I love using Manuka honey. So this is 300 plus. For really good for antiviral properties, really good for that, especially in the current time. Anything antiviral is most welcome. Excuse the fingers. And then flavor. So for this one, I'm going to you always use a bit of either black sesame or tahini. I'm just gonna lick that honey because it's really yummy. For the broccoli, I did black sesame. For this one, we'll go with white sesame, which is essentially what tahini is. So a teaspoon of that, and it was a teaspoon of honey. And then I'm gonna flavor this one with a little bit of baobab and turmeric, because I think those flavors go nicely with the red cabbage. So baobab is a South African superfood. It's got a slightly lemony flavor to it. It's really delicious, really high in fiber. Actually, there's some research shows that it's good for balancing blood sugars and weight loss as well. I really love Raw Living as a supplier of organic produce. Really, really yummy. Yeah, baobab. Someone's questioned that. That's the correct spelling. So I'm gonna add like a teaspoon of baobab. And then some turmeric, little teaspoon of that, half a teaspoon of that. And I love Surya Prana. This is a wonderful organic produce make, and her turmeric comes with organic black pepper already. And with turmeric, it's always great to have black pepper with it because it activates it and makes it more absorbable by the body. Increased absorption. Oh, if I can get it open. So yeah, half a teaspoon of turmeric in that to go with that. And then that's all the ingredients for the rice. So then all we need to do is give it a good mix. And then we can get rolling, which is the fun bit. So mixing it all up. Going all nice and shiny. And it kind of like starts to hold together a bit better when you add all the different flavors. So with the raw sushi rice, it's great to add these different flavors to kind of bind it and give it a bit of oomph. And the beauty of having this type of rice made out of essentially cruciferous vegetables, they've got so many amazing properties. So really excellent for liver detox, really excellent for female hormonal balancing and male hormonal balancing as well. So in my opinion, much better than white rice, which in sushi rice, white rice is very glucose spiking. So it really, makes your insulin levels spike. And because it's refined, the white rice, it doesn't keep you full for very long. I find I can just eat so much white sushi, and then a couple of hours I get hungry again. Whereas the beauty of raw food is it actually keeps you full for longer. There's only so much you can eat. You can't really gorge so much on raw food as you can on refined white carbohydrates. So that's why this is really good for blood sugar balancing, having this type of rice. Really good for satiety, for feeling full for longer. And as I said, amazing for hormone balancing and liver detox. So mixing it all up. And it's always important to have a little taste to make sure, it's not missing anything. You haven't needed to add anything. That tastes really good. So as you can see, look at that gorgeous color, and the consistency is kind of a little bit sticky, which makes it easier to roll. So again, I love to get the nori sheets from Raw Living as well. I think they stock them in Planet Organic or on their website. I find they hold really well. They're really good quality. So you take the nori sheets out and always place them. So they got two sides, shiny side and matte side. So always go shiny side down. And then, yeah, the lines go that way. So they got lines going that way. And that's where you're supposed to cut the roll. So you roll like this with the lines vertical. That's the word I was thinking. The lines should be vertical. Okay, so then you got to decide what you want to fill it with. And my favorite ingredient mixes, I've pre-prepared them here. I've got some tempeh over here that I've just kind of lightly fried with some tamari and a dash of sesame oil. Really, this smells so good. So tempeh can be an ingredient. And then you can just like get creative, whatever you want. So here's some avocado, some red pepper, cucumber, some chives, carrots, you know, anything goes. If you do eat fish, you can make, you know, fishy raw sushi. And then just greens. I love adding in greens. And if you follow me on Instagram and my stories, I've been obsessed with foraging and raw garlic. And it's coming to the end of raw garlic season, which is a tragedy in my book. So this is what wild garlic. Wild garlic, that's the word. So this is what wild garlic looks like. It's really leafy. You see patches of it growing in the wild with little white flowers, and it's a lot milder and sweeter than proper garlic bulbs. So I mean, I love eating it raw, and I'm gonna put it in this sushi as well. So that's quite exciting. I've not had wild garlic in sushi before. And then this is just mixed leaves, pea shoots, rocket, and I love sprouts. These are alfalfa sprouts. The sprouts are really amazing for immune boosting. So like these are sprouted seeds, so when the seeds are growing, they're full of that life energy, the chlorophyll from the sun, and when we eat that energy goes inside us and is super healing for us. So anything sprouted is amazingly filled with antioxidants and wonderful energy. And then you can also have kimchi, another one of my favorite things. I usually make my own, but I've run out, so I bought some of this Eaten Alive brand. It's a yummy one. Classic spicy kimchi, so you can add a bit of kimchi for tartness. And I love shiitake mushrooms, so these have just been marinating in tamari, some hemp seeds, and a little bit of sesame oil as well. So they've just been in the fridge for half an hour. It doesn't take long to marinate. So that's kind of like the mix and match ingredients I'm going to play with today. Make sure you sharpen your knife. So I've just sharpened it because for the slicing you need a really, really sharp knife, and just a little bit of liquid as well, just a little bit of water, warm water in a small bowl, because you need to wet the ends to seal it. And then in between chopping as well, I always add a little bit of water to the knife to help it go smoothly. So you get your rice, add it onto the sushi and flatten it a bit. And you always leave a gap at both ends, and you don't want to put too much, you don't want to make it too thick, otherwise it just kind of like explodes. But always I try and move it to the end, squeeze it to the ends. Definitely leave an end away from you clear, because you're going to lick that bit to help you roll it. But you can kind of fill it more towards you. So here we go. So can you see I've left a little bit clear at the end, but kind of filled it quite full towards me. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna have some tempeh first. Make this one with some tempeh. You layer up the filling in the middle of the rice. Some mushrooms. And a little bit of kimchi. For a little bit of bite. And some avo. And a little bit of red pepper. It's going to be quite full when I've added everything in. I get a bit overexcited. Well, I'll throw in some cucumber too. And then this one's going to be a wild garlic one. Very exciting. And some alfalfa sprouts. Now the fun bit, the rolling. This is really fun to do with your kids as well. You can get the kids involved. You get them to choose what fillings they want. So you dip your fingers in the bowl and just wet the end so that it can be sealed when you roll it. And then roll. So roll the end. Try and squeeze it tight. Tight as you can. All the way to the end. There you go. Lovely. And then you just leave it. I would leave that for like, I don't know, a minute to kind of seal before you kitchen roll, before you chop it. And here's some I rolled earlier. So this is the broccoli rice. So it's a Romanesco broccoli. That's why it's slightly paler in green. That's the beautiful kind of crinkly looking broccoli. It looks almost like a cauliflower. So yeah, this was Romanesco broccoli, and with black sesame and with mushrooms, my mushroom blend. So yeah, so yummy. I can't tell you how yummy that is. So that's pre-rolled earlier and pre-chopped. Actually this one, I stuffed it with similar because I just love that. It's my favorite combo. So this one's got tempeh, avocado. I put some rocket in this one and mushroom and sprouts. Okay, so get the knife and gently wet it. Just be careful you don't chop your fingers. Obviously, be careful of this section. And then chop the ends off first. Try and do the ends kind of thin, because often they get discarded. And in between chopping, keep wetting to allow it to go smoothly through. Here you go. Look at that, yum. And then place it on the dish. Again, wetting the knife. And yeah, chopping away. And this is, great as a little starter for dinner parties. Just people go crazy for it. They just can't believe the flavors, And everyone who's ever tried it is like, oh my God, it's so much better than white rice. Who needs the white rice? Just trying to place this daintily on the plate. And here, hey presto, a plate of raw vegan sushi with the most yummy fillings. So yeah, super easy. I mean, how long did that take? I mean, there was obviously a bit of prep work that I did earlier, but that was 15, 20 minutes, super easy. So I can carry on rolling here. My neighbors are gonna come over and help me eat this. But yeah, that's raw vegan sushi. If anyone has any questions, do pop them down in the chat box now. But otherwise, follow me on Healthy Maze, my Instagram account where I do post lots of recipes. I've posted the recipe of this on my blog, healthymaze.com/blog. And yeah, have a lovely evening. It's been so nice to cook along with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.